when people are not even trading, they're not monitoring price, they're being lazy, and we backtested for 6.5 hours with you guys, you know, back and forth, answering questions, backtesting, and doing everything, right? So ask any questions that you want to ask, it's not a problem. Obviously, if we get a shift below this low, I would be very up to taking shorts. So you can see the 5 is now bullish, so it would be a B plus short. We can look at the 15, which is still bearish. The hourly is still bearish, and the daily is also still bearish. So we'd be very much open to shorts. Okay, so this is actually likely we might get a short here, guys. So be ready, because we're going to be looking at an entry here. If NQ closes below that low and we get a shift, then I'll be seeking an entry off that gap. It'll be a stop at the high, so we're looking at 35. 35 is 5 micros and 10 unscaled. So there's no, well, there is a shift on NQ, but we have no order block, guys. So no order block paired with that gap. You see how that's a bullish order block being respected? I want that to get disrespected, because we don't have a inverse order block paired with the gap right now. Okay. So I want to see price close below this order block, which is going to be a breaker if we close below it. And then this order block on ES, we can't take it because obviously it's not paired with the gap anyway. So only NQ can inverse this order block. Otherwise, it's just the bullish PD array that's being respected. So obviously we shifted on NQ and we shifted on ES. And there's a gap on both assets. There's a sweeper buy side with a bearish bias. But right now, we're not seeing the inverse bullish order block as of now. It's being respected. So as much as we'd be so open to taking shorts, we just don't have the inverse order block as of now. And this is all one shift. So we're just waiting for price to close below that area. Okay, so NQ is about to close below. We're going to get an order block entry for shorts, 56. So that's 3 micros, which is 6 unscaled. We'd be fully break even at this low anyway, and then we can see if price gives us an entry off this order block. Okay. So I'm looking for a short. As soon as price taps this order block, I'd be taking a short. I won't take a premature entry. If ES taps the order block, I won't take it because we're looking at 56 and the risk to reward. So I want to see an entry on NQ. So it's still 3 micros, 6 unscaled for first presented gap. So first presented gap, that's the lowest I'm willing to take a entry here for price. That's all one shift, you can see. So first presented gap is valid. We're likely going to get an entry. So obviously that's a bearish order block. I'm not taking that as an entry though, because that is too far out for price. So ES is about to tap the gap, but I'm only waiting for an entry on NQ off this fair value gap. I'm not taking this entry here off this order block, because number one, our risk to reward, and then second of all, our stop placement would be too big as well. So if we trade into this 1 minute bullish gap, I'm not going to look to take an entry long anymore because price has already ran enough. Yeah. Yeah, I'm not going to take this entry anymore because price didn't actually give us an entry, as you can see. Okay. It's not an invalidation gap, but price was, we was previously seeking an entry here, seeking an entry here, and then seeking an entry here. And it does come to a point where price is not trading back to give you an entry, and we're not going to continue to look for entries all the way towards our actual TP, original TP anyway, which was around this low. So I was more than happy to take a order block short there, but price didn't trade to it on either asset. And then this gap, and price didn't trade towards this gap and created this bearish order block here and worked off that. But this bearish order block is around a 70 handle stop. So we'll be waiting for the second AM macro. Would I live stream NFP and CPI? Yeah, of course. I told you guys I'm going to be live streaming that, passing the Traderify accounts in front of you. So I'll show you guys the process, and a few of you guys will probably tune in and attempt the same. I mean, it's not guaranteed, but it's obviously in favor of us, so we'll see whether we pass them. We have 2 attempts, either NFP or CPI. So we'll see. Okay, so that's the end of the first AM. Let's wait for the second AM. So 10:45, 11:15. I'll speak to you guys and unmute my mic around 10:40, like usual. Is the 10:07 candle a short-term high? Where did his message go? Where we can put our stop loss. Okay, so no, you can't put your stop at this short-term high. That wouldn't be valid, no. So when I was looking for the entry, we used this short-term high because that's a bearish PD ray, so that will send the trade in favor. The bearish gap, the bearish order block, the bearish gap. We're respecting our stop loss with all of these bearish PD rays that will potentially send the trade in favor. That's what a valid stop is, not running it below a bearish P, right? That would be an invalid stop. Okay, so looking at the second day macro, there isn't any opportunities for longs here. Price has already taken out a point of minor buy side. As you can see on ES, we took out this high now as well. So originally, yes, we would be looking for longs here, but this was outside of macro, and then price has already ran towards a point of minor buy side. So that was a pretty eventful move to the downside, as you can see, about 250 points. I've seen a lot of you pass evaluations today, which is very good as well. That's a good job. And also myself today, I basically secured 5 more take profit accounts, and then I'm going to get 5 more 50k accounts next week. So on the NFP or CPI, I'll get Tradeify accounts as well. So I know a lot of you guys were tempted in taking a short. Now, price didn't take an invalidation low, but there's also a difference between price giving multiple entries and not filling a specific entry that we was originally looking for. So originally we was looking for the fair value gap, and then price closed below, and the bearish order block didn't give an entry. So I was looking for the fair value gap, which didn't give an entry, and then we had a second order block, which price gave an entry, but I was looking for the fair value gap. And the stop placement had already completely okay, so we re-swept sell side, as you can see there, and we've got a bullish bias as of now. So we're looking for longs. Obviously we swept sell side. We was previously looking for longs, but price took the invalidation high, so we wouldn't look for that continuation of longs there. We'd only look for a continuation of longs if price took the short-term low like it did, and then offered a model for longs, but it didn't. Right, just drawn straight to sell side. So it's still potential that we would get some sort of long opportunity. But yeah, for some of you wondering, as you guys seen the back testing and me forward testing over the last few months as well, just trading live in front of you, the average amount of trades that we take per month is around 10 to 15 trades, and we take on average about 1 trade every 2 days, so 2 tradable days. What is the best way to study your works? So study the way that I monitor price, obviously by watching me trade live. Yesterday we did a 6-hour coaching session, 6.5 hours. Was you there yesterday, or was you not? Maybe you was in the group only from today, I don't know. Okay, yeah, so yesterday you would have found some value out of that, so that was good. Also the live streams, as of today, watch me monitor price live, right? And looking at YouTube as well, I've got videos on YouTube which you can take a look at, right? Looking at the mentorship on YouTube, which is there for free, and countless videos, and just picking up step by step. And then the back testing for yourself, where you just have TradeZella and you just start back testing yourself, you can follow the checklist guide and work through that. Until when is this group open for new people? Well, as of now, we're accepting new people, but eventually it won't be available for outside people. I've got about 2 Apex and 1 Lucid eval. Yeah, after Traderify, I'm going to be looking at getting Lucid as well. You guys do say good things about it, and many of you have been paid out from it as well, so yeah, it looks clean. Jonah Ken, where did you send me a message? What platform? Whereabouts is it? Whereabouts did you send me the message? On Discord? I don't even know how to look at messages on Discord, brother. I think send me a message on Telegram. That's my username. Send me a message on Telegram to there, because I don't even know how to look at Discord messages. I didn't even know that was a thing. Just grab steaks from the store. I'm gonna go camping at the sand dunes this weekend. Anyone go to university? No, I got kicked out of both the schools. I think there's a couple of people in here are in university, but they've realised how shit it is, and they're trying to work in sacking it off within Q1. But yeah, I mean, if people are, starting off low on funds, then it's best you go with TraderFi. Because TraderFi has evals, 50k evals with no activation fee at like a price of like $55. For $55, you have the account and no activation fee. So it's all in at $55. That's what I would personally do. I mean, if you're that down bad. I mean, even when I was broke, I wasn't that broke. There's ways to make money. I mean, I used to work multiple jobs, just to fund different businesses that I was running. So you can't hedge. I don't know what is hedging. What's that, brother? Yeah, I don't know what that is, mate. I just realised I was recording. So no, you can't on TraderFi because you just get them in one position. You only need 37 points. There's no news rules and there's no consistency, so you just get them on CPI or NFP. December P&L update. I'm going to make sure that's updated today. We did so much work yesterday. Didn't get round to doing it. I literally passed out. Had a Wagyu steak and then just fucked off and got some sleep. But I'll get that updated today. To be fair, I just had a Wagyu steak right now, actually. Literally just had one between the macros. C4 made 75k in December. And we missed two of the positions, right? No, actually, C4 missed one of the positions that we all took. I remember that, which is fine. And then I missed the one that he took. So he took TP on one of them and I didn't take TP. That was the mistake. One mistake that I made in December. So last year, I made a total of 4 mistakes over the whole year. 4 mistakes, which is a improvement from 2024. Yeah. So 2024, I made 7 mistakes, and 2023, I made over 10 mistakes. Because obviously 2023 was my first clean year that I had, and 2022 was my first profitable year. 23 was my first full clean year. When will the next CPI or NFP will finance accounts? What does that mean, brother? I know roughly what you're saying, but it's on Friday next week, NFP, and then Tuesday the week after that, so around the 13th of January, we got CPI. I'll live stream both of them, as I said. I see some of you guys there who want to pass some accounts. We can do it together. All you're going to need is Trade Syncer, okay, and Trading View. That's all you're going to need. You're going to have to hook them up on Trade Syncer. You're going to run it on Trading View, set buy stops, sell limits, buy limits, and that's the full shebang. C4 33. Yeah. Lovely, lovely, lovely. Alright, Barla, I know you asked that question. I think I might have said that about 5 times. We literally just said that. Maybe you can't hear me. We could most definitely see a shift above this short-term high, and we've got loads of room to work towards invalidation. Let's look at the bias. I'm not going to look at the 5 right now. Let's be looking at the daily, which is bullish, bullish, and also is definitely going to be bullish. Yeah. So we don't care about the 5 and the 15. It could be bearish, right? It would just be a B plus long. So full higher time frames bullish. Bearish order block on ES. So we're just looking for a shift higher as we work through this second AM. We'll see if we get it. If not, we'll wait for the lunch. And we're doing a lot of work on backtesting. As soon as that backtesting session is done, then we're going to implement monitoring the London session and the PM. And I've got a deadline. I've set myself a deadline of the 10th of January. That's the deadline. I want to start monitoring London and the PM minimum on the 10th. So basically the end of next week. I'm curious why you only identify valid order block at 11:03 on ES but not on NQ, because the candle itself didn't engulf. My question is to why you think singular candle engulf, why not 2 candles like on NQ? What do you mean? I don't understand your question. There's 2 bearish order blocks here on ES. Look, 1, 2. You're probably looking at MNQ and MES, but don't really understand your question there. Will you be backtesting live after this trading day? I'm trying to think. It depends, brother. It depends. Likely not, no. No. So we will be tomorrow, though. Just not today. I've already backtested today, so we're going to be backtesting tomorrow, Saturday. So we got Saturday and Sunday to do 2 solid long sessions with you guys backtesting. We're going to get a lot of work done tomorrow, and I tell you what, we should be able to get up to around the end of October at least over the weekend. We don't have to go too crazy, you know, it's just a month a day really, so it would just be September, then October, November and December, and that would bring me up to the 6th of January, and then I've got 4 days to backtest London and the PM, which I'm not actually looking for much as far as backtesting. I'm just looking at a 6-month period. So I'm backtesting literally 6 months. I'm not even doing the whole year. I'm looking at a 6-month result of London and the PM, and then I'm adding it on to the already existing results of New York. What time tomorrow? So it's going to be 9:30 EST, around that time. Yep. So we got a shift on ES, no shift on NQ. So 2 candles doesn't necessarily, just wondering, because I have always seen order block identify as what I am talking about. Like, it doesn't have to be one engulfing candle. So an order block is just a down close candle engulfed by an up close candle, and that would be a bullish order block. And that would be a bullish order block. And that also is a bearish order block because it's been engulfed, right? So bearish order block. And if you want a high probability order block, it consists, right, of 3 up close candles and 3 down close candles for a strong bearish order block, and then 3 down close and 3 up close for a strong bullish order block. But that is for high probability order blocks. But these are still order blocks, as you can see. So, for example, if you look at what you can see on price, this would be a high probability bearish order block, as we have 3 consecutive up close candles, and if this close down close on the third one as well, then it would be a high probability bearish order block. Hopefully that makes sense. That's the difference, but this would still be an order block regardless of what color the candle closed before. So hopefully that makes sense. Regardless of what price action's doing right now, I see a bearish order block. I'm looking for a shift higher above this short-term high. I don't care that this is equal highs because it doesn't give any sort of impact at all. I'm just looking for a shift above the short-term high, and then it would be a beautiful setup and model for longs. The only thing right now on why we likely am not going to take longs at all, because of the macro, right? We've got a minute 30 left of this macro, so we're going to be waiting for the lunch. So what are we going to see between now and lunch? Well, it's not most definite, but some sort of maybe accumulation. Not huge, but just some sort of cool-off period, and then something potentially offered during lunch. But do you understand why we're monitoring today, guys? And we're not just joining in on a 5th, or joining in whenever people feel like turning up because they're unprofitable, right? So they're just trying to take as many days off as possible. Why would I not monitor price? 780, 300. This is 400-point move. And people are saying that they're not going to monitor today. Why? Exactly why? So valid trade or not, Milo don't take. Let's see. Not valid. You've marked your market structure shift on ES incorrectly, and you've marked your market structure shift incorrectly on NQ. You've marked your invalidation low incorrectly on NQ. Yeah, so everything you've marked on your chart is incorrect. I'm gonna speak to you about that once I unmute my mic at 11:35, but hold that thought, brother, because don't worry if you make mistakes, you know, it's gonna happen. So I'll speak to you at 11:35, 11:40. Wait, I've just seen this one. So Dylan said, non-tradable symbol. You can't trade this symbol. CME Mini MNQH 2026 via TradeAvate. And is that on a prop firm account or is that live? What's this? Rob's just robbed another account now. You see? I told you. You got to watch out for Rob because he's robbing accounts. He's just got robbed the robber. He's just robbed some more there, which is very good. Let's get some 100 emojis on that. So Dylan said it was my funded futures. Okay. Non-tradable symbol. Okay. So the reason why on TradingView you can't trade that symbol is because you don't have the CME package on TradingView potentially. So do you have TradingView Premium and have you added the CME package? So you'll be able to execute, and he said yes. So I don't know why you're having an issue. I would just execute on TradeOvate. So my answer to you would just go on TradeOvate, have a tab open, log into the account, and if that's your lead, I'm assuming you're looking at TradeSync here because you're trying to run one of the accounts on TradingView because you got TradeSync hooked for the rest. So just have a tab open for TradeOvate and then just have your lead there, and you should be able to execute MNQH. Shouldn't be an issue. But how do you overcome that issue? I'm not really too sure. Just TradingView Premium and the CME package. Yeah, this is good stuff, guys. Keep posting your funded certificates as well inside of the certificates channel. Just let everyone know, because so far we've got about 1,000 certificates and people taking payouts. The biggest payout as of now, which I've seen from the Discord, is either going to be Camilla or Dom. And it is Dom because Dom took 3 40k payouts with Apex. So he has set the standard, really. He took 3 40k payouts. Dom did. Not sure if Dom can hear me. Maybe he's not. Might be busy, but yeah, he took 3 40k payouts, and then we also got Camilla. Camilla, how's it going? You got any updates on that payout that you submitted? What did Apex say? Alright, let's take a look at price. Okay, so let's take a look at our overall bias. Obviously, we're doing it slightly later because we don't actually have a overall model here. So let's start on the daily. Just submitted a payout, had to do a WBEN form for 2026. Okay, lovely. So the daily's bullish, the 4 hours bullish, and the hourly's bullish. So we're looking for longs. Price did just sweep this short-term low, so we can be looking for longs and a shift higher in market structure from this point. Invalidation high at this area, and then potentially we'll take sell side as well. So we'll see what price has to offer here. I've just plugged the laptop in, currently on 8%. I'm going to turn off these lights on the desk, which is connected to the laptop, so it can charge a little faster. I still need to head up to Bangkok to go to the Apple store and buy the plug again, because I left it in the hotel back in October, so I've been left with like a not very fast charger. So obviously the 5 minute you can see was bearish, it's neutral, and then it would just go bearish again anyway. And then the 15 is obviously bearish, but we got whole higher time frame bullish bias. If I did 1550 on top step, do I have to trim it down? Yeah, so you're going to want to use 1 micro and trim it down with 1 micro. I suggest you trim it in around an hour during the New York lunch. Just wait for price to calm down a little bit. You could do it now, to be honest, but it's still quite volatile, so you might end up trimming either too much or so. Yeah, just use 1 micro and trim it down to about 1510, 1515. Once it gets to 1515, then you're going to be all good. But top step, they have a 50.5% consistency, so as long as you're that 0.5% inside, then you'd pass. After an AM distribution like we've seen this morning, is it okay to look for longs? Yeah, it is, yeah. So we swept sell side, we got a bullish bias. We're looking for longs in the lunch macro, and we'll see if we get that. If not, then there wouldn't be any positions today. And then tomorrow and also on Sunday, we're going to be backtesting. We're going to work through September and October and potentially November as well. We got Diaveni's first funded account with My Funded Futures. So let's see. So he's hit 4 trading days. So he's hit that. Profit target, done. I don't see the Tradeify deal you mentioned. Let's take a look. Do they remove it? It should still be there. It's code JAN. Yeah, it's still there. So if you go on Tradeify and use the code JAN, it's just on there. It's the code on their website. It's not my code. I'd never give you guys one of my codes, but this is just a code JAN. You can use that, and it's all the way until the 15th of January. So you can purchase it on the weekend, or you could do it before NFP or CPI. It says on their website the code is JAN. It literally says it there. You can, you know. Oh, I must have misread it yesterday. Well, it says it's $97, and then surely if you use code JAN, do you get $42 off? I assume that's how it worked. It's either 97 or it's 55. I mean, there's no difference, so, you know, we'll be purchasing those accounts. And then obviously there's no activation fee. But they have consistency? No, they don't have consistency rule on Tradeify. It specifically says growth. Growth is funding in 1 day. I also spoke to the live support last night, asked every single question under the sun about trading news and news on funded, news on evals, consistency rule, activation fee, everything. Yeah, the max is 5 accounts. Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, whilst we're waiting for a shift higher in market structure, I'm just purchasing the TraderFi accounts now. Just doing it on the separate screen. Might as well, might as well. TraderV. Don't we love TraderV? Add it to the stack. Okay, we're starting to get a shift. We'll see whether that is a full shift in market structure. So if you look at the daily, that's obviously bullish. The 4 hours bullish. And the hourly closed, but it's also bullish. So we are looking at a long with a bullish SMT on NQ. So this would be clean. If we get a fair value gap, I'll be looking for longs. We have an overall draw for this point of buy side of what you can see here. So I'm going to continue purchasing these accounts. Let's see if we get a gap here on NQ. If we get a gap, then we'll be looking at an entry off the gap. It will be a stop at the low for a 17.7, so 18 handle stop. Hourly close bearish. No, the hourly's bullish. What do you mean? No, the hourly's bullish. Okay, so let's see if we get an entry. 18-point stop. Okay, so ES tap the gap. Run a stop at the low. Okay, so I got in on top step even though they logged me out. So they logged me out of the position. So the only thing we're looking at as of now is this short-term high is where we'd be trailing our stops. We're looking at a 2-to-1, which is for this high here. So this is our TP. So I'll run it just below. That's our sell limit. TS. And then if we look from TP to break even, you can see 50% lies there. So I'll just mark that as a 0.5. Where was the order block? You can clearly see that's on NQ. We have an inverse bearish order block. So hopefully this position makes sense to you guys and you caught the correct position size as well. So it's just 8 micros on a standard 50, and then on scaled I took it with 16 micros on the scaled. And then you can see this is our point of TS, so we can trail stops only slightly by about 1 point, so 315.25. So we've barely moved our stops, but we'll go to 315.25. I can also clearly see that TradeSyncer has executed on all of the accounts as well. So always double check TradeSyncer, because sometimes it doesn't always execute completely across the board. So if we close this to be a bullish gap, then I'll be trading towards break even. Okay, so watch ES here, as ES might take the objective. So the objective on ES is that high. Let's see if we get this to close as a bullish gap, because then we're trailed to break even. Okay, so I'm going break even there, guys, on all of the accounts. So watch ES as well. Okay, so ES just tapped that high, so I just closed out. That's it, we're out, guys. ES tapped the high. So basically we got around a 1.35-ish risk reward, so we didn't get a full 2-to-1, as you can see, but ES tapped the high, essentially tapped the point where our TP is at on NQ. You can see it's the same high, so we closed out for a 1.35 risk reward. And that concludes Friday, as you can see. So that is us completely out, and it's actually good to see as well on TradeSyncer that it's closed me out of that position as well, because sometimes it keeps the positions open, or there'd be some sort of issue with closing out, but I don't have to flatten the positions, which is good to see as well. So I made $395 on each one of the standards, and I made 770 on the scaled 50k accounts, which is a 1.35, 1.4 risk reward, as you can see there. And then on Monday, I've guaranteed myself to have 5 more take profit accounts, which are being added to the current stack as well. And that's what we got for today, guys. That does conclude today. So you got to be kind of, what do you call it, finger trigger ready on taking your TP, because as I said, as soon as ES tapped the high, then we're out, and ES tapped the high, and then I got that position closed out on all sides. C4 made 150 on each account. So how much did you make in total, C4? How much did you make in total? Dylan made 360. Yeah, so you should have made around anywhere from 300, so anywhere from a 1R to a 1.5. $290, $230, $360. Yeah. How much did I make on the standard top steps? Let's have a look. So on my standard top steps, I made 306. On all of the Apex accounts, I made 745 because they're scaled. And I made 770 across the other scaled accounts. Yeah. Okay. So hopefully that makes sense to you guys. That's the trade that we took today. Hopefully you found this stream insightful. I know I haven't been full of energy today, guys. That backtesting session ran quite late yesterday, took a bit of energy out of me, and I also got in the gym and did quite a few different bits and bobs, and also a 3-hour backtesting session today as well. So no one really turned up to monitor price today. Any sort of people who trade on, you know, Instagram, they're just fakes. They don't actually make money, and obviously that's why we've turned up today to monitor price, because it's a tradable day, so we're just doing our job. I very much look forward to adding in London and the PM session. Obviously this is the start to January, so we're up around 1.35R as of now, and yeah, it's going to be good to monitor the rest of January, see what we close out for Q1, because on Q4 trading with you guys live, I closed out for a 10R. So it was a 10R in Q4 trading with you guys, which was great. C4 made 6k. Okay. Yeah, absolutely. It was great speaking with you guys today. We're going to be back testing tomorrow at 9:30 AM EST. Isaac, 250k added now, so have you just passed some accounts there, Isaac, as well? And guys, anyone who passed accounts today, make sure to put your certificates in the certificate channel, payouts, funded accounts, certificates in there, and then post your daily result of how much you made today, whether it was 150, 250, 350, or I don't really think it's possible for 400, but about 1.5R, and get that in there. Okay, so I'm going to head off. I'll speak to you guys tomorrow.